welcome back to Project Ozone 3. This will be episode 4. I made it a little bit short last time, I believe, but I wanted to get started by saying that most of the stuff in my base was temporary to begin with. I've done a few things between episodes, and today I want to get started on a proper mob farm. Now, I've done a temporary one over there, and that is all going to get torn down because that is not permanent. First thing I want to do is say that I'm not going to do it in the overworld. I'm going to do it in the deep dark. Now, this is really simple. It's just compressed cobblestone in a circle, and you get yourself a deep dark portal. Really easy. And for anyone who's ever played in mod packs with the deep dark, well, you're going to want to be careful. The deep dark is a nasty, nasty, nasty place. So I'm going to be setting up a deep dark portal. And most likely at some point today, I also want to set up a portal to Landia. Now, that's one that I'm sure most of you have not dealt with before. Landia is from the Landcraft mod. It's different. It's got a lot of different ores with much higher mining levels than cobalt and ardite. So it's the reason why Tinkerer's tools are almost necessary in this pack. So I'm going to say, this is just me starting off, and then give me a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and do some teardown, pack up, and expansion over there because, as you can tell, I just made a little pathway. I want to bring this out a little bit so that I can have a proper working area over there. That is going to be my mystical agriculture plot very soon. Either that or I'm going to go into a different dimension again. I'm going to go into the void world and I'm going to create a platform there to do mystical agriculture. I want to keep this area, my main base, as lag free as possible. And a lot of the stuff like mystical agriculture, because I'm going to be using agricraft and the agricraft sprinklers, it can cause lag. Now, because of the fact that the animation particles for the sprinklers are turned off, it causes less lag, but it still does generate lag. So, I don't have the best PC, but it can be a little bit of a rough one. And don't worry, when I bring you back, we'll be getting started on a proper mob farm in the mining dimension, or in the it's not mining dimension, it's the deep dark, which is a mining dimension, just not a safe one. So give me a few minutes and I will be right back. Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a few minutes. I've taken a few things apart, and I did complete the mob farm. Now, I'm going to let you know that across world borders, there seems to be some issues with using the claimed and loaded chunks using the FTB utilities. So what I did was I made a chunk loader from chicken chunks, and if you look here, the chunk loader is fairly cheap to make. It's an ender pearl, some gold, and an enchantment table. It's relatively simple, but it loads a lot of chunks, and I didn't want to load a lot of chunks. I just wanted to load specific ones. So what I do is take this, surround it with ender pearls, and you get 10 spot loaders. Now, these little spot loaders load the chunk that they're in. So this means that this chunk is loaded. And I put one in my mob farm, which is in the beneath, it's not called the beneath anymore. It's called the deep dark. Or whichever one. I don't remember. I think it's called the beneath now. Yeah, beneath is now. Deep dark is what it used to be. Over here, I made a little bit of a storage system because I actually wanted something that would look a little bit nicer. So I've got like base metals over here because I'm going to be incorporating those into this. I'll be adding a whole lot more drawers, but for right now, these are just the mob drops that I've been getting. Also, in the deep dark, there are biomes just like there are everything else. Where mine happens to spawn, I'm getting guardians. So I was able to get guardian scales, prismarine, fish, things like that. I'll take you over there and I'll let you see how I set that up. Now, I'm going to warn you about the beneath. If you're going to make a mob farm there like I did, it's deep dark. That's right. My bad. Back and forth on that one, but it is called deep dark. So we'll teleport over there real quick. Now, this all fits in a single chunk. I have a chunk loader. I have one of the spot loaders underneath there. Yeah, you can see it just barely. This is the dark ineffable glass. And you'll notice that I put in flat pieces here, the half slabs. The reason for that is if you have a 2x2 spawnable area, you'll get Shoggoths. And none of our automated killing things will kill them. So they're just going to sit there and fill your entire thing with sludge, and it's going to ruin your mob farm, because that sludge is a pain in the neck to clear out. I have, of course, I'm using a mob crusher, and this automatically collects the items using translocator. I don't even have it glowstone augmented, just regular translocator into an ender chest. And then on this side, I'm taking out the essence and putting it into an ender tank. Once again, not even glowstone modified, just regular. And it's working just fine. And right now with this size area, I'm using a range 6 add-on, which is actually probably more than I really need, but hey, you know, it works. We're getting a bunch of different stuff, all useful, of course. I'll teleport back over. I'm going to come back over here and do a little bit more cleanup, and I'll probably be going into, I know I'm going into mechanism. That's sketchy. I'm going into mechanism because I want to do the digital miner for resources in the deep dark, because I can do a humongous area, and I can just have it right there in that one chunk loaded thing. So, and that'll help me with pumping resources back over here and getting resource automation set up. Now here, before too long, I'm going to end up emptying all this out and moving it over to my new storage and everything. I'm still working on getting storage upgrades and all of those, which I'm going to be automating a lot of stuff here shortly, including storage upgrades and a full sieving operation, which is why I've got these ready here. I've got a couple of material stonework factories. That's where I was going with the industrial foregoing. So I've got 2 of them at the moment. I will make a 3rd one specifically for dust. Right now I have this one shared between the 2. So, and I was actually making sandstone. The reason I was making sandstone is because I'm going to be tearing off the top level of everything here, and I'm going to be replacing it with brownstone. Now, brownstone is a Tinker's Construct material that allows you to move faster when you run on it. So it's going to be nice. I'll eventually be tearing this entire platform apart. That's not too big a deal. The 2 main items I'm going to be using for building are going to be brownstone and clear glass from Tinker's Construct. For me, that seems like a really good idea because I like the clear, being able to see through and see into other areas. It really adds something to it. I may end up using some of the, say seared brick or seared stone for decoration along the way. So it's going to be a little bit darker in color, but I'm going to be augmenting it with some lights and going for something a little bit more aesthetic this time around. I want to make sure that this place looks nice when I'm done with it, because I'm going to make a world download available at some point. Yeah, but at the moment I'm just kind of plugging through. These are not ready yet. I'm hoping to get more of those at some point. I will be automating endstone production, at least. Actually, I'm not going to automate it, because what I'll do is I'm going to be going into mystical agriculture, and I'll be able to make end essence, and I'll just be able to make endstone. So that'll be my production line there. I'll be just growing it and making it. I'll be automated crushed netherstone, and I'll be putting that into my sieving operation, because I'm planning on doing a not large amount of sieves. I'm going to be doing a small amount per resource. So like 4 sieves per resource. So 4 for gravel, 4 for sand, 4 for dust. 4 for crushed netherrack, and 4 for like crushed endstone. Then I'll have 4 sitting off to the side where I may throw some dirt through them once in a while, you know, or topiary grass for some extra stuff. But I'll want to make a like greenhouse area, which I'm planning to do off in this direction. I'm just gonna make a big greenhouse and have all kinds of like different trees and bushes and whatnot in there that just make it look nice. Before too long, I'll be getting into the RF tools side of things, and that's where like having a builder, I'll be able to do a lot of nice like domes and prefab stuff that I can do really quick and easy. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. The mob farm's all set up and ready to go. Now, dealing with the drops from the mob farm, yes. Over here, I have a drawer controller, which this is feeding into the drawer controller through a translocator underneath. This drawer controller has trim going out in this direction and going out in this direction to a slave underneath here. As a matter of fact, I can show you that. Oh, where is it? Right here. So, controller slave, so I can have this go 12 in each direction on this one. And that one can go 12 as well. That way it can have no problems. I also have an extra line running out this way in case I need to access it. So there's a controller slave right here. I can throw down something right there just for temporary or for permanent, doesn't matter. I can make a little storage tower here or something. It all depends on how I'm going to end up doing this area, because this is going to be my main area for, say, like AE2. So with any luck, it'll look pretty good. One thing I wanted to cover was like this here. I made a chisel out of prosperity shards. Now, normally that would not be good because, as you can see, it only has 36 durability. But prosperity shards, for each piece you gain 1 extra modifier. So if you look at it here, it says writable and writable. So it gave me 5 modifiers right off the bat, which was great because that means I could throw 5 reinforcement upgrades on it and make it unbreakable, and now I have a chisel I never have to worry about again. No more wasting iron or diamonds on that. I did the same thing with a Matic, but that one I used it until it gained 1 extra modifier. Now, you can't use it on, like, say, soul sand and get modifiers instantly. That doesn't work. What you can do is plant a bunch of 2x2 spruces and cut them down. You only need to get to 500 XP to get 1 extra modifier, so once I got the 1 extra modifier on it, I added Silk Touch. I added a Silky Jewel. Actually, I think I did. Oh, I forgot to add the Silky Jewel. My bad. I'll do that now. That's why I have one in my bag. But this will give me the Silk Touch I need in case I come across anything that I want to pick up and not have to throw away. See? There you go. So now it's a Silk Touch. And the Silky Jewels are really easy. They're standard crafting recipe. If you've never used Tinker's Construct before, you just need gold, string, and an emerald. And don't worry about those. I use those for filtering out the trash can. I'll go through that in a second here. Let me see. So you'll need to make 4 silky cloth, which is just string surrounding a gold ingot, and then you use those 4 with an emerald to make a silky jewel. Now this is good to remember because 9 of these will make a block of silky jewel, or silky jewel silky block of jewel. That's what it's called. Really hard to say that for some reason. And with that, you can use that later on with RF tools and you can make a dimension, a flat dimension that is just nothing but this for EMC. But that's far off in the distance because EMC is not something you can get into easily here. Because you need to get the Philosopher's Stone in order to even get into that, and as you can tell, that's getting into some heavy duty stuff. We've got crystalline ingots, we've got Oblivion catalysts, Supremium coals not that far off, resonating gems not that far off, Ender Star, it's a little far off. Although I did happen to get really lucky. I got a couple of patient bags. I got a patient bag, and I threw it in here. This is just a little loot bag opener with a single Ender IO conduit on it, and I have it on insert and extract, always active, self-feed enabled. So it just keeps popping it in and out, and after a while, it gave me another star. So first Nether Star acquired. Now I do have my Ender pouch, which monitors my end chest over there, coming from the mob farm. That's because occasionally I'm going to get things that aren't in my system, right? Or something in my system is going to get backed up since I don't have void upgrades over there yet. So if that happens, I can easily go ahead and check it out. See, now I've got a nice amount of loot bags stored here. Now that farm isn't insanely fast, but it's fast enough. In here, I've already filtered out a lot of stuff here. As a matter of fact, let me just pop this off here real quick so I can show you this. This is a filter from Extra Utilities, and what I did was this filter contains 2 filters. Now, the reason I did that is because each filter you put into it can hold a separate list of items. So like this one is this stuff, and I have it to ignore NBT and ignore meta, so it'll ignore any enchants or damage on it, but these base items will get pulled out or will be whitelisted, can go through this filter. And the same thing on this one. Now I could have actually removed most of these because these all are basically the same thing, and if I hit ignore NBT it should have pulled all of them anyway, but I wanted to make sure. So, and if I look at this, I can take both of these and I can put them back in here because this is the one that has both of them. So if I go in here, pop this in here, now the only things that can go in here are the things in those filters. So when this gets items, it first checks here because this is on priority 1, so it'll check here first to see if it can go in. If it can't, it'll check here to see if it can go in here. Now if it can't go in either one, then it stays in the chest, but the chest has that over there, so it's going to both places. So it'll first, because the translocator is actually faster than the item conduit is, so the translocator will attempt to pull it out and put it into here first. And as you can see, it pretty much stays constantly empty. There's no speed upgrades in that or anything. Now the reason I have this ender conduit over here is because of the fact that every once in a while, because loot bags are non-stackable items, the anti-barrel will accept non-stackable items like bat bags or any of the loot bags. And what will happen is it'll store a loot bag in here because it got it before the translocator did. This is just here to extract and insert. That's it. Doesn't need an extraction thing. It's always never active anyway. It didn't matter. But this is only to pull the bags out of there and put them in here. That's it. This is the ender tank, and that is the essence. As you can tell, a fair amount of essence. I will be using this later because I'm going to want to do things like, you know, specific mobs I want to, you know, replicate. So I'll be using the industrial foregoing mob replicator or mob duplicator. So I'll be able to farm specific mobs if I want them. I did make an alloy kiln. I'm not sure if I did that on camera or not. And over here I set up a little zenith furnace, or endus furnace, with a bunch of tiny coal in a drawer, and there's a flat transfer node here feeding into the side, so it always goes into this slot. This is just a simple smelting setup. Nothing amazing. Over here, my Tinker's smeltery with, you guessed it, a cobblestone generator underneath, some heat sand there, and it's feeding into a quantum tank. The quantum tank is feeding into this via a flat transfer node. So it doesn't need to be fast. This thing does not use lava fast. So as of right now, I have what, 95,000 buckets? No, 9,500 buckets. And it's just ticking right. It's just ticking along. I might want to change this up a little bit at some point and put a translocator so that it can just instantly, fill. But I might do that over somewhere else where I can actually do multiples and see if I can fill one quantum storage tank with lava, because I think that would be fun to do. Other than that, I've got my automated obsidian over here. And I have it just sitting there with a regular stack limit, so it only can have 32 stacks, and it's doing just fine. Because in this thing, we still have, what, 4,200 buckets. Got my atomic reconstructor over here. And this will get moved. Most of this stuff is just temporary. Not too big of a deal. I will be making this into a proper storage house with walls and a roof and the whole 9 yards, and I'll be replacing the floor with something a little bit more seemly. And you'll notice that underneath here there is a platform. This is where I had my little 3x3 Curse Earth mob farm going before, where I was just getting some basic stuff. In here I have a convoluted little setup that was what I was doing for all of this. And it had the recycler with going into the it was a mess. Now what I did do was, over here I used those filters, the ones I showed you before. Coming out of here I have a filter that says only certain things can come through, with a couple of speed upgrades. So in here I've got, because it has ignore NBT and ignore meta, it pulled all Ender IO conduits into here. And it also pulled all enchanted books, but in here I have one that has an enchanted book. Of course, it's Blast Protection 3, but I did ignore NBT and ignore metadata. So down here I have enchanted books, and a lot of them. I haven't gone through all of them yet. At some point I will, and I'll pull out the ones I want, combine the ones that need to be combined, and just do it that way. This little platform here will probably stay here, because this is actually generating power. It's not really a great power source, because it's just augmented once. Like right now, it's only doing 22 RF per tick. Maximum it can do is 120 RF per tick. But it's just feeding into this, which is regular energy, or a hardened energy cell. And that's feeding the wireless RF battery, which is powering pretty much everything. So, at the moment, nothing spectacular, but it's something. And this was powering the mob slaughter factory that was up there, that was getting me pink slime. And I was able to get a couple of pink slime to make the 2 stonework factories. And I was able to get, I think, I put it up there. I'll show you in just a second here. Because of the creepers dropping loot bags and everything else dropping loot bags, I was able to get some the catalyzing, or the creeper drops, the creeper reliquary drops, the little glands. And with that I was able to make a mob imprisonment tool, because 3 of those turns into a gas tier. And I was able to capture a pink slime. So at some point when I can do replication, I'll be able to replicate pink slime and have an unlimited supply of it. There's one other thing I wanted to touch on with you guys. Now, a lot of people shy away from Tinker's Construct because in order to do Tinker's Constructs, you have to do casts, you have to do this. Well, if you want simple, easy, really good tools, I recommend nicking into the nether and grabbing yourself either a darkwood or a ghostwood sapling. Darkwood and ghostwood are extremely good for tinkerer's tools. I will give you a demonstration of this. Actually, I can do it right here because I have some tinkerer's tools on me. Now, I made a ghostwood obsidian mattock. Now, the reason I did this is because I can use ghostwood sharpening kits to repair it, and it has a mining level of cobalt. And it's wood, which means no melting, no casts, nothing like that needed. You can do the same thing with dark wood. Yes, I made, actually I'm going to make some kits real quick. I went ahead and made a hammer. I think I put it in this bag. Yep, there it is. I made a dark wood hammer. It's just dark wood all the way through, everything. Base, it has 1,125 durability, and it has a mining level of cobalt. Yes, it's slow, but for this, it's very useful. Because if I don't want to vein mine an area, if I just want to take out a 3x3, it does it. It's not bad at all. Same thing with ghost wood. I have a pick that is made from ghost wood, and it actually is quite effective. I think I put it in here. I'm probably looking right at it and I can't see it. Well, here's a ghostwood shovel. Again, good durability. Mining speed, meh. We have vein miner, so not really a big deal, but mining level is cobalt. The durability is good. And because of the fact that it is wood-based, it has ecological, which means it will repair itself over time. Give me 1 second. Well, I can't seem to figure out where I put my pick, so I must have accidentally thrown it away. That's painful, but it happens. So I will end up making another one here. That's not too big of a deal. I was, running around putting things in different places, so I mean, hopefully I'll come across it at some point, but I'm not holding my breath. This was the first pick I made. I actually might just replace pieces on this one, because as an obsidian pickaxe, it does have the cobalt mining level, but if we go and we grab, say, we'll set this down right now, the dark wood will work just fine. Say we go over here and we grab a new pickaxe head made of dark wood, right? We drop this and this in here. The difference between the two: 179 durability, mining speed 7.07. 390 durability with a mining speed of 5. So a little bit less on the durability, but a lot more on the durability, a little less on the mining speed, but it has an amazingly cheap repair, because I can grow the resource to repair that in a bonsai pot. And then if I wanted to, I can easily say, let's see here, I made a whole bunch of these in case I ever need more of them. So right now, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and take a stack of this, and then throw these in here and just there we go. Unbreakable. Now the great part is that now that it's unbreakable, I can replace the pickaxe head with whatever I want. So, say I want to do something that has more than a cobalt or whatever mining level. If I'm not mistaken, this landium which I got can be used. Nope, it can only be used to make ingots. That's it. So, yeah. Oh no, it can be used to make the other stuff. Okay. So let me check here if it's got a higher than cobalt mining level. It should technically have. There we go. Nope, it has an obsidian. It does have portly gentleman, which can be useful because you can pick up like mobs and you can capture them inside your tool, but that's not really going to be helpful for me right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. But these can be used to make this, which is what I'm going to be doing here in just a second. The Landia portal. You have to activate it once you've placed it by killing an undead mob nearby it. So it's going to be easy enough to activate. I'll just make a little, like, 1 square mob farm over there or something and wait until a zombie spawns. Alright, so I'll just need the 2 of these for right now. Yeah, as you can tell, I went to the nether and I went into a wall and I just started digging. And I got tons of nether ores and I just ran them through so that it would just make them into regular ores. And this is just absolute insanity. I mean, it's just nuts. The nether is so full of resources. Oh, I broke like, I think I broke my pick like 12 times just mining and mining. I just went into a wall so I wouldn't get attacked by all of the crap that spawns in there. Just bring a bunch of torches with you when you do it. That way you can put them down behind you and you won't have to worry about like skeletons and stuff like that spawning. Just pigmen and they're not aggressive, so. Yeah, I need to go over here because I need 1 diamond, 1 emerald. Got all the rest of the resources in here. And then make 1 of these. And this will be what I'm going to do at the beginning of next episode. I will go ahead and open up the portal to Landia and show you guys that. But for now, I think we're done. And, oh, one other thing I wanted to cover. In here, because I have this anti-barrel, which is what I'm putting everything into that doesn't stack, you get these totems. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen the totems before. Each one has a different type of power recorder on them. Now, the bone mealer one I'm going to want, so I'm going to take that. Now, the bone mealer means that any plants nearby me will begin to grow faster. I'm going to want this for when I start doing agricraft. Now, I did get this one, saturation. I will never have to eat again. I am very, very happy about this. Now, it does have multiple levels. I'm going to get all 3 levels eventually. Now, this is going to be very useful just when I'm doing agricraft. And then once I've actually got it done, I'll be able to take it off. Having any ability on does use up hunger except for this one, which cancels the use of hunger and keeps you full and fully saturated. So that also, I had to have 58 levels. So all of the solidified experience I had been collecting, I used all of it. I mean, I had like 15 stacks in here. I used it all up. Maybe not 15. I think it was like 6. But I used all of those up, and I used up the stuff from the new mob farm that I had over here. I think by now some more of it may have accumulated, though. Oh, yeah. Got another 2.5, almost 3 stacks. So, if I wanted to put this one on, say the bone mealer one, I'll need some levels. So what I'll do is I'll take these. Do I have enough? Yes. So pop that over. Now it took 30 player levels, but it only takes the experience required for 30 player levels. Any levels you have over that, it doesn't take a full level at a time like enchanting does. It takes experience